Live. Welcome to Speak to Lead. We are going to meet with Magdalena Korzynietz. So waiting for Magda, and we are going to talk about voice. Let's start. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me also?
Yes, perfect.
Yay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for starting.
Yay.
Right.
You're welcome.
I am Magdalena Korzynietz, and this is Speak to Lead, a podcast for leaders who want to speak using their true voice by rediscovering their story and using storytelling. And today's guest is Anna Muchnicka, who is guiding entrepreneurs to create their businesses according to their truth, following their heart,
Following the purpose.
Purpose. Exactly, leading with purpose. And Anu, I wanted to talk to you today because you are someone who has let herself, let's say, to speak on many stages, to speak for yourself and for others, even create speeches for others. So you've been through many phases of between speaking for someone, like someone, and speaking according to your purpose and using your voice. So I would love to hear from you first. Could you share a little bit more about the time when you started to realize that you were actually speaking more for someone or like someone? And of course, you can introduce a little bit more this time of your life.
Magda, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this lovely conversation. I think this conversation is really timely because nowadays so many of us have an opportunity to speak, have an opportunity to speak up, have an opportunity to speak their mind, but instead we copy each other and we get censored even without knowing. We think we have a brand. Sometimes we think we have a platform. We have a stage. We have this freedom that I didn't have when I started speaking. I didn't have a platform. I didn't even think I one day would have a platform where I can speak freely. But instead, we use this platform sometimes, and I hope that it's not our case, Magda. That's why we meet, only to make money. And we are losing this amazing opportunity to speak. So for me, when I started to speak in European Parliament. I got that job. Actually, I was used to speak on the stage, sing on the stage. So that was for me very natural to speak and very natural to sing. So I was in a school theater. I would speak a lot of times. It was like a normal, for me, a normal. Now my donkey wants to speak too. So for me, it was something very natural. However, I was afraid to speak. I had a stage fright, and it was something that I couldn't get rid of, especially when I was in the European Parliament and I had to speak about something that I didn't create and that I basically had to speak about things that were not aligned with my soul. But it was a good practice. So I was very well paid. I really loved that job, but I was stressed. So my body was not, I was not embodied, and my body was not where my heart was, and my voice was not where my body was. So everything was misaligned.
Yes.
I felt like a fraud. I felt like an imposter, and I earned a lot of money. So I did that job for a long time because it gave me comfort, stability. But I believe that a voice cannot choose comfort. A voice has to choose freedom. So I chose freedom. When we choose freedom, we don't know where we're gonna end. This is the zone of miracles and magic. And I went through a period where I really didn't know what I want to say and what I want to talk about. But I lived my life. So I lived my life. I went to Asia. I started diving. I stopped speaking. I stopped actually. I worked physically. I worked with people. I worked with in nature. And then one day I decided I'm going to talk about this kind of change to freedom on a stage of a TEDx where I was invited. And this is where I really discovered my voice. And I started to talk with my body, and my body was very present. And I remember that people who were training me at this TEDx, they told me like, man, you are breaking all the rules of public speaking. And we don't even have time to correct you. So we think you should just go like you are, because this is what people are going to buy.
Can we pause as we are here about people who are listening to this podcast? There is a lot of pressure on how you should supposed to be, sound,
Yes.
what kind of rules you're supposed to follow to be professional on stage. So could you give us like 2-3 examples what kind of rules you were breaking?
I was gesticulating, so my body is really vivid when I speak.
Okay.
And I told everybody basically that I am afraid to speak on the stage.
Okay.
And I decided I'm just going to take a pose and I'm going to breathe in front of them. So that was a part of my speech. It has become a part of my speech, but it was a very natural way of me speaking on the stage. And they said, okay, this is so weird that we're going to keep it.
Okay,
And
sorry, I'm moving because there is some construction.
No worries,
Okay.
no worries. Mm-hmm. And so there are a lot of rules, and that's why I think Instagram, which is a platform on a stage, has also a lot of rules. We have to learn how to break the rules to be authentic, because people respond to this authenticity. Universe responds to this authenticity. People respond to what they feel. They don't buy what you say, they buy how they feel when you say it. So me trying to be somebody else, trying to be perfect, trying to obey these rules would not make any impact. And after I did this speech, a lot of people hated it. Some people were very neutral, but a lot of people maybe not cried, some of them, but it touched something in their heart.
Of course. A side note, scientifically, it is proven. There were studies studying TED Talks.
Yeah.
And they analyzed the most successful TED Talks, so the ones that went viral, let's say. And they realized TED Talks that went viral were done by people who were showing their hands, their palms, open palms, and they were moving their hands. Exactly. That's why I'm like,
Really?
Yeah, don't follow any rules just to follow rules. Like, ask yourself why those rules are rules. Here they said they said analyzing it that when you're showing hands, when you are moving your body, we all speak on two layers or channels. One channel is words and one channel is body. And when you are doing with your body something that is saying like, I'm composed, I'm like, okay, I'm professional with my body, people are like, okay, you're speaking, let's be free, but your body is saying, I have to look professional. But you, by being you and using your body to communicate, definitely created a channel of trust. So just...
Yes, and I think before I already learned, because I have seen how much of impact I have on people when I speak my truth, and when I'm not really trying to pretend somebody that I'm not. I saw this impact on my students, on people, on my students and my clients I worked with, and when I established this connection of truth, they had the biggest transformation. So let's say I had this courage because I had already this experience.
Yes.
And I think because I think people who are listening to you, mostly Magda, and who work with you, these are people who really want to speak. And I think the best way to speak is not to wait for the stage and to basically be the stage wherever you are. And forget about the rules. Of course, it's great to have a coach and to learn and to have a mirror, somebody who will give you feedback, because we always have this blind spot we don't see. So of course I learned some tricks or some things from them.
Yes.
Definitely. But your main role is to really speak and see what is the impact that you are creating with your audience.
Incredible. This is exactly, I wanted to ask you the impact it had. Because as you say, you don't have to follow rules just to follow rules. What I like to say, create an enabling structure for yourself. So structure that gives you freedom to order your thoughts, to remember, where you are, to compose your body language, but in a way that it's aligned with what you're saying. And I love you saying, like, be the stage. That's the next level of what I say, because I say you are on stage before you get on one. You are on stage all the time.
You are the stage. You, Magda, are the stage.
Exactly. And I think in those, as you said, when you are on stage or when you speak, it's not like you're doing it for the first time. You have had experience of what saying truth looks like in your reality. And it starts also with what do you say? Like, my story was, I didn't tell my husband I was recording podcast. Like, if he didn't know, why would others know? I wouldn't tell my neighbors or my friends who know me for years. And now, because I started to be more open and simply literally created a place where everyone is welcome, I can help anyone who feels like that's a place for them. And I connect people from different areas of my life now.
Totally, Magda. And you know what I have recently discovered?
Yeah.
Where I was reading Genesis, how God created man. God created man before he created Eden. Before he created the platform, he formed the man. So how God creates us as speakers is that he first forms us, then he will put us in a place where we have to speak. Then he will choose the platform where we have to speak. So, for example, if I didn't do like you, if I haven't had my podcast, we would have not met. I would not speak in your podcast. You would not speak on my podcast, which I recommend to listen to. It's a very good podcast we did last week. If I didn't speak if I didn't form myself as a singer, or at school, in the theater, or I didn't really take the microphone wherever I wanted or whenever I saw one, I would not be invited to the European Parliament. I would not be invited to TEDx. I would not be invited to this. And just speak. And this muscle of speaking, you can develop. If you feel like you are a speaker and if you feel like you have something to say, it's something that you really have to nourish by yourself. Give it energy, give it your time, it's like training muscle in the gym. Because if you have a hint that you have a calling, that God wants you to talk about something important, you have to practice these muscles because before he will put you in a platform where you will really have an impact. That's why a lot of people wait until they're ready, or they wait for a stage, they wait until somebody is going to invite them, but they don't train the muscle of actually speaking the truth. Speaking when, okay, there's something to say, let's say it. And I think it's so important because nowadays we create brands to make money, but I think we should remember that we create brands and we create a voice because one day there will be something very important that you will have to talk about, and you cannot be afraid to say it.
Yes.
I remember when there was war in Myanmar, a lot of my friends who worked for big companies, they could not speak up. And I was there, and I didn't work for any big company. I was free. I would work for big companies, but as a consultant. So I understood my assignment. I was like, okay, now I have a platform, I have a voice, I have my people, and I need to say that there is war in Myanmar, that there is something happening because the press was not talking about it. And I use my brand, I use my platform to speak about something very important, but I trained for it where nobody actually maybe followed, but maybe not nobody, but maybe a couple of people followed. But then it became for me logical, okay, this is why I have a brand. Not only to make money, not only to sell my products, not only to sell my business, or not only to sell my services, but when there is time, you have to use your voice. Do you agree, Magda? Do you also have a story like that?
I just recently, I was, as always, working on new stories. I was like, what is that story that I'm not saying yet? And then talking to my husband, he gives me a platform to just feel very safe. Find someone you feel safe with.
A husband is a very good audience.
But also
You have
find a
one,
friend.
you're lucky.
Find someone you feel safe with. You will naturally find yourself in a flow and speaking your truth. And I realized that I haven't been talking enough yet about the fact that exactly what you're saying. When I decided to create my podcast, I didn't tell anyone. But what I did, out of what I was doing, I was working with my clients, and I said, look, follow my podcast because I'm sharing a lot of tips and I'm sharing my stories you can really use as a support for our coaching together. So they did. And what was incredible is that after me fighting all my life to feel heard, when I simply started to share my truth, share my stories, share my wisdom with people I was actually really helping, suddenly I started to hear from them and then from others more and more like, Magda, you were in my head. When I was about to say no to a new project or I was about to stay quiet in a meeting, I heard your voice. Take a deep breath, listen, and silence is good, pauses are good, speak up. Or another friend told me, yesterday I went on a podcast, my podcast, and I heard you say, everything is your stage. And I think that's magical. When you let yourself start speaking your truth in safe space and then grow this safe space gradually, you will not fall when will someone comment on you, like you in TEDx, like, oh, what was that? Because you need your safe bone. You need to feel safe somewhere, not to change your identity, for example, when someone comments on what you've said. You need to know to the core who you are, and then let your truth, let your wisdom, let your stories help others step by step, one person at a time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You need to feel safe in your body and be ready to speak what you have to say, but
Yeah.
also I would like to say something to our audience, to people
Yes.
who speak, who want to speak. something that really helped me
Mm-hmm.
to feel safe, even though comments are harsh,
Yeah.
because they will be. Whatever you do, when you speak, when you teach, 1/3 of people will absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
They will be inspired if you of course speak from your heart. 1/3 of people will always be neutral, and 1/3 of the people will hate it or will be criticizing them. But it also a lot of my experience showed me that a lot of those people are your best supporters, but they just have this brain, this mind that criticizes everything. So they're gonna focus on your lipstick, they're gonna focus on your hair, they're gonna focus on some mistakes that you do in
Yeah.
English, and or some mistakes that you have made, or on your personality. They're gonna focus on that because this is how they train their brain. It doesn't mean that they hate you. It doesn't mean that they hate what you are saying. It means also that they are projecting something on you, their
Yes.
shadow, that they cannot confront, and they
Yeah.
project it on other people. So it doesn't speak anything about you. When I did my TEDx, one of the actually very important people came to me, and they said, well, I felt like you were maybe too intimate.
Wow.
And it shook me because another person came to me with tears in their eyes, and they said, you touched my soul to the bones, and I don't know, I cannot even speak. So it was needed to touch somebody's heart, but this man was not ready to be intimate, probably in his relationship to life and with himself. So it didn't say anything about me, it said something about him. But I loved it because he came and it also touched him, and this was the only comment he could make, because this was his level of intimacy he could create with me by criticizing me. So
Yes.
you remember this, people when they come and criticize you, relax, open your heart, and see that this person is just looking for connection. Otherwise, they would be natural. So the best people are these two, those who criticize you. However, if you feel very, very triggered,
Yeah.
refocus on people who are excited and inspired. Really refocus your attention,
Mm-hmm.
connect with them, and you will see that those people who are criticizing you, they will join the crowd of the people who are inspired. It always works
Incredible.
like that. It works in my trainings, it works in my coaching groups, it works with integrating the group and the audience to feel,
I
to level up.
That was God, what you've just said.
Yeah.
Because the fear of what will people say is one of the biggest, or I believe the biggest fear, because we are
Yeah.
social species, we need community, we need to belong. So the biggest fear is rejection
Mm-hmm.
for who you are. But if you really know who you are, you will, after a shaking moment of like, why would he say that? Then it's like, okay, but I am who I am. I remember who I am. But one question, Anya, nearly to the end, because also on my journey, I've kept asking this question, what I'm actually afraid of when speaking up, because it's a continuous journey. Every day, I believe we discover one more truth, one more story, one more thing we could say more precisely, one more thing we can say more directly. And it's a process. We have to just, as you said, practice the muscle of speaking. And how do you deal yourself or throughout the years with what will my family and friends say?
This is a great
Move
question.
out of Poland. Move
I love
out.
your questions. I loved this whole scenario of this podcast. Okay, this is a very valid question, and this is a question that stops most of the people from having a personal brand that speaks the truth. We are afraid of losing money, we are afraid of losing people, we are afraid of losing, of being rejected by the people who love us the most, and we will be. We will be. And If you are not rejected, it means that you are not speaking your truth. You are not fulfilling your full potential. Your family is supposed to be afraid. Your family is supposed to be blocking you. Your family is supposed to keep you safe. This is their job because they love you and they want you to be safe. If you speak up your truth, you are taking a risk. You are leaving the comfort zone of your family, of your environment, and you are going to something that I call miracle zone. Miracles happen when you leave the comfort zone, when you leave the egregor, the mindset of where you belong, and you create something new from inspiration, from insight. For me, it is God who is giving me these insights. So I know that it doesn't exist in the world yet. I'm speaking from my inspiration. It's going to trigger a lot of people. And I think at some point when you train these muscles, and you know that, Magda, when you train these muscles of speaking up your truth, you're going to be rejected, and you will know that rejection is a blessing. It's reorienting your life to other people, to other places, to other opportunities. If somebody rejects you, bless them, love them, forgive them, because there is nothing to forgive. This is just redirection of your design. This is a divine plan for you to go to other people, to meet other audience, to create new collaboration. It is just moving you forward. It is growth, basically. So allow your family to criticize you, love them for this, but also at the beginning, I would also say that you have to block people from, if you cannot speak up, if you're afraid to speak up, block them. Tell them, I love you, but I need to block you because I need to find my voice. I need to speak to my people. For example, I don't sell, or I don't speak to my family. I don't want them to buy my products from me, okay? They want them to buy my coaching from me. They would never be coached by me, okay? But you are never a prophet in your country. So you have to speak to the people who really need you. So keep in mind that one person you're talking to, forget about your family, and if you can't, just block them with love, explain them why, and at some point, you just get used to your audience, because we cannot speak to our friends.
Anya, I have to repeat. I have all chills and I'm just relaxing at the same time. Even though you're saying things, me, 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't be ready to hear. 3 years ago.
Really?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's been like my recent experience, what it actually means, not to only speak your truth and feel safe with your family, but accept that their role is not to buy from you. Their role is to wait for you at home.
Yes, and also keep you safe.
Yeah, and keep you safe. Exactly, because they are you need your safety net.
That's why you left your home for a reason, right? Because you wanted to grow.
Yeah, but then my home is my husband right now. He is the must. You have to find an uncle, but uncle, not uncle. But when I started to speak up, and it happened when I came back to Spain. Let's say I moved many times. I'm back in Spain, and when I started to speak up, I literally felt like my village, my Polish village, is hovering over my shoulder. I felt all the self-limiting beliefs. I felt all the coming rejection, and it was like I felt it nearly physically. But I wanted to repeat one thing, Anya, what you said, because I think it's huge. I'm going to repeat that, and everyone listen up. When you leave your comfort zone, miracles happen.
Totally. Only.
This is incredible.
You
I
have
love
to.
that. It's an
Only
answer
then.
to...
You have to move your ass and move where you don't know what's going to happen, and people are afraid of the unknown the most. And in the unknown, this is where your life starts.
Yeah.
But also, Magda, I wanted to tell you something about your husband. Okay, I love your husband. I mean, I love both of you, and you're an amazing couple. and you have an amazing family, but you are not, when he is at work, you are not there. You're not judging him. You are not criticizing him. You don't even know what he's talking about. So if you were, maybe you had some things to say, but you're not. So he has his platform where he is free, can do his job, he can be a leader, he can do whatever, and you are not there. So we have to give, in a relationship, each other space and maybe establish rules. Listen, please, I tell my boyfriends, please don't go on my Instagram. Just leave my Instagram alone. It's not for you. Let's keep our life private, and it's not for you.
It was a donkey, only a donkey. All
The donkey agreed. It's not
Anya,
for
it's
you.
okay.
If you want us to have a healthy relationship, don't go on my Instagram. Don't listen to my podcast. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. At home, I am a completely different person. At work, I'm in my masculine energy. I lead. I work with people, and at home I want to be in my feminine energy, and I just, I want to create something different. So maybe this is a boundary.
Yeah,
we have
definitely
to talk
recommend
about
that at the beginning of your relationship and at the beginning of you speaking up your truth. This is what I did at first. I was afraid of my husband and my family following me. Now my husband asked me, Magda, why don't you post more LinkedIn? What you do is so valuable. I want to see you more on LinkedIn, because he's only on LinkedIn, And I think that's beautiful when, for example, I had one moment when I had to say to my husband this. He kept telling me, if it doesn't work, then. So he kept giving me a plan B in case my business doesn't work. And I told him, I know you're saying this to support me. And yes, it's a possibility. Of course, I'm not going to be trying forever, but I really need from you right now to stop saying if, because my brain is already saying a lot of ifs, and I'm training myself to saying when.
Wow.
And he really listened. And he really directly, it's super important to say what you need and open your heart to the possibility. People really want to support you, but they don't know how, because you are discovering how. And so really be open to saying, this is what I'm doing, or start practicing saying to your loved ones or friends or neighbors, I'm working on a very interesting project. Yes, thank you, all good. Or
exactly
something like that will put you in a positive mindset, like, yeah, so believe in yourself without explaining yourself.
It's a pity that your husband speaks your language, because he's a polyglot like you. So maybe another thing is when you choose your boyfriend or your husband, somebody who doesn't speak your language.
That's another topic.
The language that you work in, like for example English. Maybe no, I'm joking.
Yeah, I know. That's another topic.
The best is really to set a boundary, I think, and to say, okay, this is my work and this is your work. I'm not peeking into your work. You don't peek into my work. And if I need, I'm gonna we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, basically learning what you need and communicating what you need.
Yeah, and freedom.
No one else.
Freedom in speech. Well, from my experience, freedom is in speech. The people who are the closest to you are the most dangerous to your freedom of speech, because it's not about them. It's about the enemy is using people who love you the most to scare you, to speak your truth. So you have to create these boundaries. You have to say, okay, now what is it that I need to speak today? What is it that I want to speak today? And I have to be brave, because in the end, we're going to die alone. We're going to be alone, and we are alone. And we have the responsibility for us, just in front of the Creator, about how we lived our life.
Yeah. And I would say, from my point, after years of speaking my truth and going through many, many phases, how to face family, friends, also trust that when you feel totally safe with who you are, what you speak about, family and friends will start recognizing the new version of you. they will get used to the fact that the person from 10 years ago is no longer there, and they will be step by step feeling safe with this version of you who is speaking the truth, and they will love you, and they will be like, I love this, I love this, they will love this, they will love you, because they will get used to, and it will be the best version, because the version that is truth.
Magda, I hope that this is the case for most of the people. It is not the case for me. And I live with this.
Not yet.
No, but it's not. And I live with this because I think,
okay,
this is not the purpose, you know? Like, this is not the purpose. It can be, but it doesn't have to, and you will still be, you know, the most important is that you can look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I was truthful to myself.
Yes, of
I
course.
was truthful to myself. Even if my family didn't accept it, even if people don't accept it, even if friends don't accept it, even if I lose collaboration, it's okay. I was truthful to myself in the end. And if you strengthen this muscle,
yes,
you're right, then people will, the right people,
yes,
will be magnetized in your life.
Yes.
Some of your family members, not all, because like
Yes.
I said, there will be always those who are,
Yes.
1/3 will be against, 1/3 will be neutral, and 1/3 will love you and get inspired by you.
Totally.
And maybe it will also change depending on the topic.
Okay, Anya, last question, because we didn't go off topic, because it is on topic, how to start speaking. We said, you know, how you discovered that your body basically was telling you, first of all, okay, I'm here, but something is off, even though I want to be on stage. Then you spoke on stage on TEDx after you left that perfect job, perfect life. And now you're guiding others, guiding entrepreneurs to lead with purpose. So also speak truth, speak with purpose. What would be your last advice for today only, to people who are listening and they literally feel in their body, they feel in their heart, there is something coming, they feel the wave of what they're supposed to say, or they feel only that there is something, but they are still feeling blocked to do it?
Amazing. Start before you're ready and speak your truth daily. So make a challenge for yourself to speak your truth daily, without a stage, with people you meet. Speak your truth. Feel like, pause and really think, why am I saying this? And say it. Just say it, practice this. Because then, if you get this assignment without being on a stage, you will be used for a bigger purpose when you are ready. You cannot be used if you cannot speak the truth in your daily life with your close ones, with your friends, and with your colleagues. So practice that.
Wonderful. Anya, thank you so much. Of course, this won't be a last episode with Anya. We have so many topics.
Thank you,
But
Magda.
stay tuned. There will be more episodes on Speak to Lead, but also I would love for you to also invite you to Anya's space. Anya, could you just share how people can connect with you, work with you to discover their purpose as leaders?
Yes, definitely. If somebody feels that they haven't discovered their life purpose yet, and they would like to connect with me, you can write me a DM or leave a comment here. Speak, and we will send you free consultation to talk about your purpose. Because I think nowadays, discovering your purpose and calling is the most important mission that I have for my work. This is something that is very important for our society, that people discover their purpose and they speak their truth. It's super important, because we're gonna need it.
Oh, yes.
Challenging times are coming, and we really need more and more people speaking the truth. That's why, thank you, Magda, so much for what you are doing, because you help people to speak the truth, speak up, and use their voice. And your mission is amazing. And I congratulate you for this podcast and for everything you do, Magda.
Thank you so much, Anya. See you soon and speak to you soon. And everyone, follow Anya on Instagram, Soul Business Masters, and Magdalena Korzynietz. Bye bye.
Yay, Majo. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day,
Thank
everybody.
you.